On air.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to begin, may I request everybody to settle down in your own quiet, private, and distraction-free space. Thank you. Okay, we would like to start this program through a prayer, followed by the national anthem and the singing of Zamboanga Hermosa hymn.
Dear Lord, we praise and worship you today. You are exalted in our midst. You are exalted in our midst. Ask for forgiveness. We ask for forgiveness for every sin we have done. Have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. Our Father. Start our program today. As we start our program let your guidance and protection be upon us. Send your Spirit to us and give us wisdom. We thank you for all the blessings we have received. We also thank you for the lives of the people in this place. Be glorified in everything we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Welcome, everyone. Good morning. How are you doing today? I hope everyone is okay. Allow me to thank you for joining us for today's webinar. It is my pleasure to be your moderator. My name is Alexander A. Medina. You can call me AM for short. I am from the ATENEO de Zamboanga University, College Guidance and Counseling Office. As many of us face indefinite timeframes on home-based school and work, and ongoing limits on the activities and social interactions we enjoy, mental health issues are likely to increase. As our new normal evolves, it is important to keep a focus on mindfulness and find ways to reduce stress and boost our spirits. With this, the American Corner Ateneo de Zamboanga University, in collaboration with Ateneo de Zamboanga Social Development Office and the Ateneo College Guidance and Counseling Office, and with Regalo Touching Lives as our host, initiated this free webinar entitled Surviving or Thriving, the Importance of Self-Care. To formally begin with our webinar, I would like to call on Mr. John Mayo Enriquez, the Assistant to the President for Social Development and the Acting Director of the Social Awareness and Community Service Involvement at Ateneo de Zamboanga University, to give us the welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings of peace to all. First of all, I would like to congratulate and say my sincerest gratitude to American Corner Ateneo de Zamboanga University, headed by Ma'am Lini Kalingasyon, together with the Ateneo College Guidance Office, headed also by Ma'am Sheila Chong, and their partners in this webinar series. As we all know, we have been disrupted and we are currently having challenges with this pandemic. It has affected our lives, especially our personal and professional lives. As a educator, as a leader, as a parent, we are all adjusting in this new normal. We hope to learn in this webinar that we will gain insights and we will learn from our resource person the importance of self-care, which I think is the most crucial in this time of the pandemic. Lastly, I would like to say to our participants that if you have questions, don't hesitate to share and ask at the same time. So again, I welcome every one of you present in this webinar series. Thank you very much for your participation. And in behalf of our university president, Father Carol San Juan, our university.
Thank you very much, Sir Mayo. Joining also with us this morning is the Assistant Cultural Affairs Officer in the U.S. Embassy, Manila. Prior to coming to Manila, she worked in the U.S. Embassy Beijing Press Office, where she managed the embassy's social media accounts as well as advised and coordinated social media with the U.S. consulates across China. She has also worked as a Foreign Service Officer in Shanghai and in Washington, D.C. Before joining the State Department, she was a writer and online editor in the San Francisco Bay Area. She studied comparative politics in Chinese language and history at San Francisco State University. An avid photographer, and she is looking forward to exploring the Philippine Islands with her camera. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Miss Pauline Anderson to give us a message.
Thank you so much for inviting me to join the program today. And thank you for that very kind introduction. My name is Pauline Anderson. I'm an Assistant Cultural Affairs Officer here at the U.S. Embassy in Manila. So I'm delighted to join you for today's webinar on surviving or thriving, the importance of self-care, organized by the American Corner in partnership with the Ateneo de Zamboanga University Social Development Office and the College Guidance and Counseling Office. I'd like to thank all of the participants who are with us today and for everyone who made this event possible. Mr. John Mayo Enriquez, Assistant to the President for Social Development, Ateneo de Zamboanga University. Ms. Sheila Tiong, RGC, Director, College Guidance Office, Ateneo de Zamboanga University. Ms. Lini Kalingasyon, FJTB Library and American Corner Director, Ms. Agnes Lim, AC Librarian and Program Coordinator. We are now at the beginning of 2021. A new year is always an optimistic time full of hope and renewed spirit. Yet we cannot deny the fact that we are still coping with the effects of the pandemic every day. And each one of us is still finding ways to live within the new normal as we move forward with a vision for a better year ahead. This discovery can be moving more slowly than we would like. Yet we should also not fail to realize that for some, they are still living with the deeper pains and challenges brought by this unprecedented time. It's important more than ever to know that we are a community of support and strength. We always say the American Corner at ATENEO de Zamboanga's library is a space for information, collaboration, and innovation, where a diverse range of people can be inspired and empowered by new ideas. But more so, and whether in person or virtual, the American Corner serves as a space and a partner for community building. It is a space where everyone is free to speak out, to exchange thoughts and ideas, and to learn from one another and to be inspired by one another. The U.S. Embassy supports Ateneo de Zamboanga's efforts to provide programs that address pandemic-related challenges to help individuals and communities find opportunities to thrive and grow towards a more holistic human development, even when faced with difficult moments and situations. May this morning's program help all of us learn more about ourselves, become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and behavior, and most importantly, have a clearer view of the positive things we can nurture and share. Through that, we will be able to reach out to others in need and reach our goal of building a community of support. As they say, we cannot help others if we do not first help ourselves, and we cannot give what we do not have. So I invite everyone to actively participate, ask questions. This is a much needed conversation, and I hope that all of you will take the opportunity to speak up and be heard. Our invited resource speaker this morning is also looking forward to listening to what you have to say and to learn from you. Thank you once again for inviting me to be part of this meaningful and timely engagement. Congratulations to American Corner Zamboanga, the Social Development Office, and the College Guidance and Counseling Office for organizing this event. Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Pauline Anderson, for that very inspiring message. Indeed, we are all in this together. Just a little housekeeping before we continue. If you have any questions during the presentation, please reserve them at the end during our open forum. Okay, now without further much ado, we'll turn the time over to our presenter. Our presenter today is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Psychology in the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, where she also finished her master's degree in guidance and counseling. She is a registered guidance counselor and has been a guidance counselor in Ateneo de Zamboanga University since 2006. She worked with the junior high school, senior high school, and higher education guidance and counseling offices. Currently, she is the director of the College Guidance and Counseling Office, a grateful and content wife since 2010, and a mother of one since 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, help me in welcoming my colleague, my director, our presenter, Miss Sheila Tiong.
Thank you, A, for the thoughtful and kind introduction. So allow me to share my screen, and also for the next hour or so, I'll be checking my time, and then I'll also be browsing my cell phone in case there will be questions, since I won't be able to see the questions and you here. Even myself, I won't be able to see, given that I'll be the one to share my screen. Sige. So again, as what Sir A.M. mentioned, in case you have questions or thoughts that you'd like to share, please keep them, or actually you can share them in the chat box, and I will get to them later after the session during the open forum. So thank you for being with us this morning, for taking some time off from work, from your routine, just so to be with us. As what Miss Pauline mentioned, hopefully we will get to learn from each other. So it's not just you who will get something out of this, but also us, the team. Hopefully we will get something from you as well. So And also it's very nice when she mentioned the word, we are a community of support. So Miss Pauline mentioned that American Corner, the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, the College Guidance and Counseling Office, we are a community of support. As also mentioned by Sir AM, we are all in this together. So really, if at times you feel that you're alone, note that you are never alone. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. So again, please bear with me in case the slides won't right away pop or won't right away move to the next. A, please give me a yes if you can see clearly my slide. Wait,
You
I'll
can
check
see your slide.
clearly. Okay. How about my audio? Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Miss Sheila, we can hear clearly.
It's better now and
Thank
clearer,
you,
ma'am.
Sir Kaloy. Thank you, thank you, Sir Kaloy. No, so again, our continuous struggle and adjusting in this new normal. So one of which is the internet connection. So us here in Zamboanga City, it's actually also the brownout. Hence, AM and I chose to be in the office at this time so that sure hindi kami aabutan ng brownout. Okay, so let's proceed. So in addition to the house rule that Sir AM mentioned, na all your questions will be entertained or answered during the open forum, I'll be adding this additional house rules. So again, we are very glad that you made time. You made time to be with us this morning. And really, this coming here, it's actually for yourself. So check natin as we proceed, no, kung kumusta na nga ba tayo. As what Miss Anderson mentioned, we can only give if we have it. Pag wala tayo nun, how can we give it? So we first need to experience it to feel our cups in order for us to be able to share that cup, that filled cup, kahit half full lang, okay na, that filled cup with others. So things to prepare, writing materials for note taking, doodling, etc. Your beverage, coffee, tea, water, etc. Your surroundings, hopefully it's quiet, private, and distraction free. And of course, your interior disposition, which we hope is calm, relaxed, and open. Anyhow, if you're not that relaxed or calm, we will let you in the process of calm and relax as we proceed. Okay, so again, the title of this webinar is Surviving or Thriving, the Importance of Self-Care. I'm sure many of us, since the start of the lockdown, uh, we are not sure if we're really making the most out of the everyday that we're given or that we're blessed with. It's more of we just focus on the getting by. Yun bang, as long as I'm not sick, buyag, or as long as my family is healthy and we have something on the table, okay na yun. So check natin because even if we are still in this pandemic, in this lockdown, still we can choose to thrive and not merely to survive. But we can do that only if we do this self-care. So first, check natin using the chat box. So I won't be able really to see your answers. No? Siguro Sir AM, in a while can give me the numbers. So let's check. How are you today? Or how are you this morning? How was your waking up? So let's use the scale 8 to 1, 8, I'm full of love and doing amazing. 7, I'm happy and feeling great. 6, I'm feeling good. 5, could be better, could be worse, but I'm okay. 4, I'm functioning but feeling anxious or worried. 3, I'm having a hard time and wouldn't mind if someone reached out to me. 2, I am completely lost and broken inside. And 1, I'm really in a dark place. Not sure I want to leave. So I'll give you a minute to check how you are. You don't have to really think things through. Just key in the very first feeling or thought that comes to mind. Is it a 7? Is it a 4? Is it a 2? So, Sir AM, in case you have the numbers, can you read some numbers to me? So I'll have that sense as to how our participants are this morning.
Good, Ma'am Sheila.
Yes?
On my screen, I have here some of them answered number 6, 4,
Okay.
and a lot of answered 5. Number 5, they're feeling good, and number 8, some answered number 8. I'm full of love and doing
Oh,
amazing.
wow. That's very good, Sir AM. Thank you. Ano ba to? We chose 8 because we already feel love in the air. Kasi Feb-ibig nga naman, no? So it's good. Kasi majority, if I got it right, on the 6th, on the 5th, on the 8th, though meron naman on the 4 or on the 3. If you are on the 2 or on the 1, it's okay. That's why we're here, because hopefully we'll get something out of this experience. And also, it's important to take note that if you're struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, help is readily available. It's just a matter of choosing, choosing when to do that call or when to do the typing for the help. So thank you, Sir AM.
Ma'am
I'll
Sheila, if I may
proceed.
add,
Yes, sure, go.
meron pala tayong ditong poll sa platform na to. Majority of our participants answered number 6 with 29%, and
Oh,
followed by number 5 with 23%, and
mhm.
number 7, 18%, and number 8, 13%.
Oh, thank you, Sir AM. So, looking good, no? Feeling good yung participants natin or yung group natin. So, very good. So, hopefully, etong session natin, no, more like supplemental na lang siya, more like vitamins, kumbaga. So, thank you for that, Sir AM. So, before we proceed to the session proper, I'm inviting you for the short poem. It's called Slow by Marnie Slarov. So as I go over the lines, I'm inviting you to follow me silently and savor, feel the words. You are allowed to go slow. You are allowed to be quiet. Make space and feel. You are allowed to have nothing to say and wait until you do. You are allowed to wait. You can just breathe sometimes and watch and see. You can be open to whatever comes next. You can not know and you can want. You can be okay with your wanting. You can sit in your agitation, breathe into your irritability, and cry in your grief. You can wait for the truth. You can watch how you make up stories and love yourself and wait until the true one reveals itself. You can do all kinds of things slowly. Right now, as I was reading the poem, actually, a thought popped this pandemic actually somewhat taught me two of the many things. One, to wait and trust, and another thing, it's somewhat teaching us to be impatient. So both to wait and to trust, and at times to be impatient, especially the new normal that we're getting used to, wherein we just click if we want something and wait for the person to deliver it in front of our doorstep. So diba, contradiction siya. Wait and trust the process, or you can choose to be impatient and just click and wait for the person to send to you your desire or your want. So again, aside from the slowing it down, from the waiting, from the trusting, I'm inviting you also for this brief grounding exercise, which is actually a mindfulness exercise. If you notice, since the lockdown or since the pandemic, a topic on mindfulness, topic on mental health, mental wellness, well-being, mental well-being has been on the rise. Ang daming nagsusulputan na articles on such, no? So for this one, I'm inviting you to take some time to just stop, to stop. So my apology, no, if I am static. So again, one of the things that we don't have control of, internet connection. So I'm inviting everyone to do the stop. So this stop, actually, it's an acronym. So first, S for stop. So whatever it is that you're doing right now, if in case you're using your computer, your laptop, and you've opened several tabs, if you can, close your other tabs, close your other tabs, and just focus on this one, this session that we're having right now. If you're tempted to multitask, like to write a report while listening to this session, might as well stop first the writing. Instead, just be present and be with us. Be aware with what's happening and just focus on the screen without the other tabs, without clicking here and there. Next, we'll move on to T. T for take a breath. If you remember, breathing or breath, it's the very first gift that we receive. When we were born, the doctor waited for us to cry and give our first breath. So that crying, that first breathing symbolized life na buhay tayo. So that's the waiting that our parents, especially our mom, waited for more than 9 months. Then when we leave this earthly life, it will be the very last thing that we will be giving up or letting go, our breath also. So amazing that we breathe 24/7 without us knowing it, without us doing it with any effort. But the sad truth is, we actually forgotten or we've forgotten
Hi, Ma'am
how it
Sheila.
is.
Hi, Ma'am
Yes,
Shi. If I may interrupt, kasi marami po nagko-comment about sa audio nyo. Medyo static. Can we, ano muna, Sir Kaloy requested kung pwede muna i-refresh muna natin yung browser para at least we can,
sige.
we can hear you clearly, ma'am. Sayang po kasi yung content na activity if we are not be able to really hear you well. Okay lang ba?
Okay. Yes, thank you, A. I will refresh my browser.
Okay, for now, participants, allow us to take a breather muna. Kung may mga ano kayo, if you want to go on a CR break, siguro, take a snacks. Kung if you are able to jot down notes, go ahead. For the meantime, we are having a technical difficulty, which is very normal when it comes to dealing with our new normal setup right now, di ba? Yung mga power outages, erratic internet connection, it's very normal nowadays. So I hope you will bear with us. Just a quick refresh lang muna ng browser ni Ma'am Sheila. Kasi but at least you'll be able to really understand yung content na activity, yung self-care. Okay? So I think Ma'am Sheila is back. Ma'am, I'm giving you the floor again. Go ahead.
Okay, so how's this A? Better?
Better. So far, so good, Ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, A.
You're welcome, Ma'am. Go ahead.
Sige, so I'll be sharing my screen once again. Okay. So where in this one? The brief grounding exercise. So again, I'm inviting you for like 5 minutes. Let's do this. A brief grounding exercise. It's actually a mindful exercise. And if you notice, since the start of the pandemic, we've been bombarded, no, with articles on mindfulness, on mental health, on mental well-being, etc. So this one is on mindfulness. So in case you'll get overwhelmed, so mabuti na lang no na this time our participants are really on the good mood, on the good feels. So in case as you go along through the day or through the week or throughout the month, no, so on and so forth, you feel overwhelmed, you might want to use this so that it will help you get back to calming, to relaxing your mind. So stop, it's actually an acronym. So first, we'll start with the letter S, which stands for stop. So stop, like literally and figuratively stop what you're doing right now if you can. So in case you've opened several tabs, you're replying to email or to your messenger or you're writing a report while listening to us or while being with us, if you may close the tabs and stop the writing of the report and just be with us for the next hour or so. So that's first stop. And then T, take a breath. So take a breath. We know how to do this. It's just that as we grow older, we really forget how to do it properly. Hence, when individuals start to be overwhelmed with emotions and thoughts, when they start to panic, the very first thing that they feel is the the not being able to breathe. So the answer to that, when you are panicking, anxious, worried because you're overwhelmed, really is to take a breath, to stop, take a breath, like inhale through your nostrils, then exhale through your mouth. You don't have to be very conscious of the counting. Just inhale and exhale. So let's do it right now. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The inhaling and exhaling, if you do it rightly, if you do it consciously, if you feel the air, the oxygen getting into your nostrils, filling your lungs, and exhaling it through your mouth, doing it for some time, you'll actually be surprised that the overwhelming feeling, the overwhelming thoughts will slowly subside. And after some time, let's say like 5 to 10 minutes, you'll be surprised that this time your mind is clearer and you'll get to go back to what you're supposed to do with more focus, with more clarity, with more objectivity. So again, stop figuratively and literally, then take a breath, Then we'll move on with O. So O for observe. So observe, you can use your senses, your five senses. So right now, uh, try to look for things just in your surroundings. That's color green, that's color white, that's color black, that's color red. What are the things right now that you can see in your surroundings with these colors? And then next, what's that one thing, one scent that you can smell right now? So of course, aside from the air that we're breathing, can you can you identify one particular scent that is strong right now? And lastly, for observe, using your hands, your fingers, what's that one thing that that when you hold, it actually gives you that sense of focus. Like for me, for example, when I'm doing counseling, when I'm attending a meeting, I'd really hold a pencil. So this pencil would remind my mind that I am in this counseling session, I am in this webinar right now, I am in this meeting. So my focus is to be here. So there. So as we do this, let's continue our breathing. And then if you're ready, if you're able to honestly do the stop, if you're in your breathing, and if you got to observe your surroundings, your laptop perhaps, or your computer or cell phone, and the thing that you're holding, let's move on to P for proceed. So again, this brief grounding exercise, it's actually a skill that you can bring with you anywhere, anytime. Just like the snack, the morning and afternoon snack, and even midnight snack that we take. We can take this like that, especially when you are overwhelmed with thoughts and emotions or with deadlines. Just give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to do this. And again, you'll be surprised that your mind can be calm, can be relaxed, can be clarified, can be clear, and you get back to focus on what's on hand. So for the next hour, our objectives are as follows: knowledge, perspective to understand, self care, attitude, acceptance, willingness, self compassion. So again, self-compassion. So not others' compassion, but self-compassion. So sarili naman natin muna for this session. Helpful ways to regard stress. Skills, concrete skills to practice, address particular stress reactions. So one of which is the stop. And then applications, deepening learning through discussion, reflection, and practice. So for the discussion, hopefully we'll have an interactive open forum using the chat box. So I'll be sharing with you two concepts or two things as we proceed. The first one is on psychological flexibility. So medyo high sounding siya, no? Pero if we will try to look at the specific words, it's not really that overwhelming actually. Where we're doing this, just that we didn't know that eto pala si psychological flexibility. So that's the first one. And then the second one, I'll be sharing with you self-care tips which I know most if not all of us are already doing. It's just that from time to time it's good to be reminded because our brain can be that forgetful, can be that stubborn at times. Lalo na when we try to focus on the better perspective of a situation, lalo na when our brain will try to go back to the self. Okay, so what is psychological flexibility? Before understanding that concept, we need first to look into psychological inflexibility. So there are actually just 3 points. So eto, si triangle with 3 points. So first, unable to open. So check natin kung ganito tayo, no? So again, let's be open. Let's be open with how we are right now, with how we've been doing things, and only then, when we be honest with how we are doing things, can we actually know that which we need to change. And when we're able to point things that we need to change, that's where growth happens. So again, it's important to note that among the many things, change is the only constant. So alam natin yan, ulit-ulit na sinasabi sa atin ever since we were very young. So unable to be open. So for unable to be open, avoidance of the unpleasant. Stuck in unhelpful thoughts and feelings. Sounds familiar? Avoidance of the unpleasant, stuck in unhelpful thoughts and feelings. So eto, avoidance and stuck. For the past months or since the lockdown or siguro even pre-pandemic, no? What are those things or what are those instances or what are those situations that you continuously choose to avoid? Or what are those situations or instances or opportunities actually that makes you feel unpleasant still? Next, unable to be present, overburdened by past, example, self doubts, memories, trauma, etc. Overwhelmed by future, uncertainty, worry, lack of perspective, attached to conceptualized self, self story or label. So, how many of us continue to experience this every now and then? Overburdened by past. Uh, Example, I know of this person uh, whom the wife died like 15 years ago, but still hold on to that sana. Sana. Kung inalagaan ko lang, if I only took care of my wife better, sana hindi siya nawala. Yung gano'n, no? So, in that sana, actually, this person that I know of hasn't hasn't fully lived his life up to now. Because from time to time, when he is moving 2 steps forward, he goes back 5 steps backward. Overwhelmed by future, like I might be a failure after I graduate. I might not find a decent job after I graduate, etc., etc. So again, the self doubt at times are reasonable because the self doubts happen because of a bad experience, perhaps, or because of a traumatic experience. Hence, it's important to acknowledge what had been, understand it, and of course, take into consideration that even if you are partly responsible of it, but you are not, I'm sure you are not completely responsible of it because aside from you, there are other external factors that need to be considered. Again, just like I mentioned earlier, most times our brain, when it comes to oneself, it becomes very critical. Try to check yourself. How are you when you listen to others' sad stories? When you listen to others' hurtful stories? I'm sure you are more compassionate than when you try to understand your own your own sad stories. And then lastly, unable to do what matters. So of course, if you continuously avoid the unpleasant, like for example for students, no, very common for students, very scared to do reporting because once in their life napahiya sila, so they remain stuck in that past experience, forgetting that it was part of the past and that they have the opportunity to change perspective and view that experience, that hurtful experience, for them to do better, to get better, and try again. So maybe the second time, the third time won't be perfect, but surely there will be change as you try, and later on, again, one might be surprised na yung traumatic or hurtful experience, amazing pala how the progress has become if only the person becomes open. So later, dun sa psychological flexibility. So again, unable to do what matters because some of us, siguro, our values are unclear. Our goals and directions are unclear. So what are values? What are values? Values like, for example, do you value honesty, determination? How about family, friendship, relationships? So ganon. And without you really noticing it, our goals and directions, whether it be career, whether it be personal, whether it be interpersonal or family, if you notice, if you will look later, no, look deeper later after the session, you will be surprised that actually these goals and directions, they are anchored in values that your parents or your caregivers have instilled in you growing up. So check natin. Siguro, one clear example of this, no, using psychological inflexibility is how come other individuals, there are individuals wherein, let's say, a woman whose father was physically abusive. So the father physically abuses the mother or the wife. So this daughter grows up or grew up witnessing that. And I'm sure that daughter will constantly tell herself, remind herself that later on, when I meet a man, when I get married, I will never marry a man like my father. But how come many still end up marrying the same person just like the father? Perhaps because of this avoidance of the unpleasant. Perhaps because of this stuck in the past, overburdened by past, unclear values, goals, and directions. Kasi yung brain, yung unconscious mind actually nasanay na ganun yung normal, ganun yung cycle. So it's different when you just say or think plus the doing. So when you are sure of what you want, when you want to break that cycle that you had with your family growing up, be certain that your values will be changed by you. You won't just rely, eto no, dun sa negative values instilled, just like the example. So you can consciously by yourself break that value and change to another value. Hence, from there, kung totoong ayaw mong maulit yung cycle, then you change that. Move on, move forward from that hurtful experience. Then anchor this new value that's clear to you with your goals and directions. So, again, I'm inviting everyone to check this. What are those things that you've been avoiding? What are those things that somehow you remain stuck na you don't know or you didn't know that, oo pala, kaya pala I'm so scared every time I'm asked to do this, no? Like for some, I'm so scared to get out of my comfort zone. I'm so scared to do research, for example, because once back in college, I was humiliated by my research professor. So examples like that. So hence the person continuously avoids such opportunity because going back always to that past experience. So with the past, tapos na yun. With the future, we're still uncertain of what the future holds, but we can prepare. So while preparing, part of the preparing is making the most out of the present moment, what you have right now. And this, what you have right now in front of you, it's the only thing that you have control of. Okay? So, an example of psychological inflexibility, very common example is, oh, there pa pala, meron pa. So, when we are unable to do what matters, we end up with ineffective, impulsive, compulsive, reactive behaviors. So, impulsive, compulsive, reactive behaviors because when we see others do this, when we see another engage in this particular goal or direction, since we have unclear goals, values, and direction, we are easily swayed to go with them also. So, in the process, those persons that we followed, sila, they are on track. Pero tayo, since nakisabay lang tayo, so we are even lost or we get more lost in the process. Hence, eto. Okay, so one of the examples is procrastination. So it's just one of the example, but earlier I already gave you some examples. So 'di ba procrastination are ay mamaya na yan or bukas na yan pagbubukas ko. Because hoping na at the back of our minds, most of the time it's unconscious at the back of our minds. We hope that when we delay, when we procrastinate, the problem will solve on its own. Maybe the problem or the reports won't solve on its own, won't be written on its own. We have to do it. And the more we procrastinate, the more it will have a negative impact. And if we won't break that cycle as early as now, we might have more difficulty moving or breaking the cycle as we get older. Okay? So, eto. So, what can we do this time if we're now aware again of the psychological inflexibility concepts na are present pala with us every day. Kaya pala hindi ko matapos-tapos. Kaya pala I feel discontented. I'm no longer happy with what I'm doing. Hindi pala because of your environment or because of the opportunities that you didn't take, but it's really because of those things that you held on to na you could have or that you can actually let go so that you will grow professionally, personally. So psychological flexibility. So this time, if you're now aware of the stuckness, of the things that you're avoiding, of the past memories, past hurts that you've been holding on to without you knowing na you have pala the choice to let go. So this time, you can do this. Open up. Make room for thoughts, feelings, and experiences without resistance. So again, diba, sa avoidance of the unpleasant, sa stuckness that you didn't know that you're stuck in that cycle. So might as well, later on, or pwedeng ngayon, no, when you're able to pinpoint, oo pala, kaya pala ganito ako, hindi ako gaanong masaya, yun bang always lang sana, sana, sana. Kasi pala, hanggang sa imagination ko lang, but I haven't started taking a step, even a single step. So this time, make room for thoughts, feelings, and experiences without resistance. So now that you've acknowledged what it is that you've been avoiding, what it is that brings you discomfort, baka it's high time for you to acknowledge it. So yun yung pinakauna. Acknowledge the discomfort. Ask your questions. Why have I avoided this for so long? So tracing back, looking back, understanding where the thought, the discomfort, the overwhelming thought, even the bad or hurtful memory is coming from. So from there, you can unhook from thoughts and urges. 'Di ba kung nasanay tayo sa procrastinating, mamaya na yan. And we've been seeing the negative, the bad effects of procrastinating every time. So baka it's high time for us to let go of that. Kung nasanay tayo sa cycle na yon, take courage starting now to slowly let go of that practice. So unhook from thoughts and urges, accept and make space for unpleasant inner movements. Kasi when I procrastinate, uh, the more ideas pop in, etc. Oo naman, the more ideas pop in every time you procrastinate because your mind, your brain is used to that cycle. But check how that unhealthy cycle has been doing harm to your body. Nakukulangan ka sa tulog, 'pag nagpo-procrastinate ka, andun na naman yung butterflies in your stomach, mga gano'ng feelings 'no? Are your do your palms get sweaty? Do your heartbeat start to race? Do you experience headaches? Yung gano'n. Baka yung focus mo lang is dun sa ideas, discrediting the other bodily sensations that you have to go through every time you do it. Next, be present. Kung sa inflexibility, psychological inflexibility, you hold on to that past, you hold on to that hurtful experience, might as well this time be present din sa stop natin kanina, no? So make contact with the present moment. 'Di ba may kasabihan tayo, that's why it's called present because it's the only gift that you have at the moment. So later on, ako, for example, no, I'm not sure what will happen after this. What will happen when I leave the office? What will happen when I reach home? Yung ganon. But the moment that I have right now that I can make the most out of is the moment that I have with you. So be mindful of the present moment. Step back, observe, gain perspective. Bakit ba uncomfortable na naman ako? Bakit ba I'm avoiding again with this new task? So check nyo. So by doing that, you're actually doing this. You pause, inquire. So you feel the overwhelming or the discomfort of emotions and thoughts. So saan to nanggagaling? I'm bothered right now. Again, I'm trying to run away from an opportunity to do research. Bakit kaya? Ah, kasi dati, etc. Hindi, kasi ang dami ko kasing ibang task na priorities. So even acknowledge the reasons. So are the reasons that you're thinking just to again not mind the new opportunity because you're stuck no in the old ways? Are those really valid? Really valid, or you're just making excuses? Because again, you want to avoid the unpleasant. You're stuck. You want to remain stuck in the process. So if you have your honest answers, then allow, allow the experience, the opportunity, the feeling to just pass through. And by doing that, I'm sure you'll gain clarity, you'll gain perspective, and then this time You might perhaps muster the courage, kahit konting courage lang, to try. Diyan naman nagsisimula lahat, 'di ba? In trying. Two steps forward, okay lang. One step backward. Basta again, move slowly forward, forward. Wag naman yung two steps forward tapos five steps backward, no? So, kahit baby steps, as long as you're slowly releasing yourself from the stuckness, from the cycle, unhealthy cycle. And then, eto, do what matters. So kung kanina, you're unclear with your goals, values, and directions. So this time, if you're able to really have a clear definition of your values, ano nga ba yung values that have been with me ever since I started working? And up to now, every time I need to make hard decisions, without my knowing, I hold on to these dear values pala. Kaya every time I have to make a hard decision, after I make them, I get to have that sense of peace wherein my head and heart connects. And even if no matter how scary the decision, how risky the decision I made, but I'm sure of it because of this value guided actions and commitments. So one of which is an example that I've been holding with me very dear ever since I was young was the value for family. The value for family. So ever since I was in grade school, I told myself that later on when I grow up, whatever I will do for the rest of my life, whatever career that will be, I'll make sure that my top priority will be my family. So this time, any decision, no matter what opportunities I'll be given or risks I'll be presented, I make sure that my family is top priority. So in that sense, every time I have to make decisions. Yun yung basehan ko. That's one of the several values that I've been holding dear. And so far, it's given me peace of mind and heart every time I had to make that decision. So check nyo again ha later. Baka you need to reevaluate your values. Baka yung values na akala mo yun yung kailangan mo for you to be happy and content and fulfilled with your life. Hindi na pala yun yung value na ginagamit mo for some time. So there. So psychological flexibility, let's be open. Let's be open for the discomfort, for opportunities, for whatever it is that we will be presented, we will be given. So always be present with what you have on hand. Ano yung kailangan for the day? So take it a day at a time. 'Di ba yung pandemic akala natin, 2 weeks lang na lockdown or 1 month lang. Nung una pa nga 'di ba, day 1 of lockdown, day 2 of lockdown, day 30 of lockdown until no one is counting kasi nakalimutan na nating mag-count because we're so focused with what we need to do for us to adjust and cope. Until eventually, many of us still have difficulty adjusting and coping because of the inflexibility. We still hold on to sana pag hindi nag-pandemic, sana, or what if. But then again, it happened and no one imagined for it to happen, but it happened. And with this, we're actually presented with a lot of opportunities. It's just that we have to be open to acknowledge those opportunities that's right in front of us. But then go back. You don't just take in all the opportunities that's presented to you every time. Make sure when you choose, It's value guided. So that's for psychological inflexibility. So ngayon, ang dami ko nang sinabi, no? So the definition really of psychological flexibility is the ability to stay in contact with the present moment, regardless of unpleasant thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations, while choosing one's behavior based on the situation and personal values. Studies show that psychological flexibility is associated with quality of life and mental well being. So take note, many individuals who develop mental illness, it's really because one of the reasons, no, it's really because they avoid they avoid facing and handling reality. So they still hold on to the ideal self. They still hold on to that ideal life that they've created. Hence, in the process, they're losing. They're losing their real selves. Kasi iba kasi yung reality sa expectations. It's okay to have expectations, but make sure to be ready to face what reality is. Psychological flexibility is the ability to adapt to a situation with awareness, openness, and focus, and to take effective action guided by your values. So again, eto values. It's our anchor. So check nyo. I'm sure you have your values. It's just that you rarely notice it. Kasi nga, naging part na sa inyo growing up. So again, psychological flexibility, you be present, you be open, you be engaged with the present. So this time, on to our last points. So these are 10 self-care tips. So now that you've realized na, oo pala no, what are the things that I've been avoiding? What are the instances that bring me back to that stuckness, etc. So this time, after acknowledging or even after jotting down, or baka later you can reflect more, no, and take notes para you can do something about it. This time naman, part of thriving, 'di ba, yung self-care, eto, these are very basic and important self-care tips na ginagawa na natin. It's just that, again, because we get so overwhelmed with multitasking, we get so overwhelmed with adjusting and coping, kasi nga unclear yung ating values and directions. Pag nakita natin si neighbor, pag nakita natin si friend, so sasabay din tayo. So we get lost in the way. And our sense of self actually fades in the process. And later on, you'll be surprised na sobrang pagod ko na, pero hindi ko naiintindihan kung bakit pagod ako. Or yung question na, hindi ko na kilala yung sarili ko. So, yun. So again, go back to those points that I've shared with you earlier. So with self-care, alam natin, number one, make sleep non-negotiable. Make sleep non-negotiable. We know what lack of sleep can do to us. Irritability, lack of focus, poor concentration, bad memory, etc. So it really depends on the person, or person to person. Some individuals, 6 hours, okay na. For many, 8 hours. Yung sleeping time naman, like this time na during the pandemic, many stay awake at night just to the requirements, especially for students, because at night, for example, the internet connection is faster kasi konti lang daw yung gumagamit, yung ganun, no? So siguro, alam natin kung ano yung proper time, pero we need to adjust and cope. So point is, if your body tells you na kailangan niya na talagang matulog, you rest, even power naps. Kasi yung katawan natin, iisa lang yan. Pero your studies, the school, the work, uh, employers can just hire another one. With students naman, you can just take your leave of absence if you are ill. Pero yung katawan mo, pag bumigay yan, so mahirap nang i-reverse. So make sleep non-negotiable if you can, 7 to 8 hours every night. Set a routine. Set a routine. When we say routine, let's follow schedule. Even if we are working from home, studying from home, our routine will still give that sense of normalcy, will still give that sense of order, will still give that sense of confidence, of sense of productivity. So set a routine for house chores, for work, for studies, and also for self care and leisure. So, according to studies, actually, we were trained to do routine as early as few months old pa lang tayo. 'Di ba? Babies, they thrive with routine. And if they know their routine, they actually become confident individuals as they grow. So actually that's really one of the rationale behind setting routines for us to know what to do next, for us to be productive, and in the process we become confident. Next, calm your mind. So eto, because of the pandemic, kasi nasa bahay lang tayo, no? Given that we are social beings, we rarely, we rarely do connect face to face, usap ng face to face, or give hugs, etc. So our mind becomes so stressed because kung tutuusin lang, etong work from home setup, when we thought na, ay, easy lang yan kasi sa bahay lang. Pero hindi pala. Our work have doubled and tripled actually. So if you start to panic, if you feel overwhelmed, or if you even feel down because you cannot understand what's going on, yun pala kasi you just miss social connection, then go back to doing the stop. Go back to doing the stop. And I'm sure from there, you again gain perspective. And then fourth, watch your language. Eto. Ah, ilan sa atin nasanay tayo na we tell ourselves, yung self-talk, I can't do it. Di ko kaya. Takot ako. You become what you say. So our mind, it's actually very amazing, no? It's like a sponge that will eventually just believe what you will tell it. So if you're used to saying na, hindi, hanggang dito na lang talaga ako, or I'm old, I'm already 50, so I will stop learning, I'm contented here. But truly, are you happy and contented with where you are right now? Or is it because you just want to believe it because you're scared? Because again, you're stuck and you're avoiding growth. Kasi nga, nasanay yung mind mo, yung katawan mo, believing what you continuously tell it. Like, I'm a failure, hindi ko kasi talaga kaya ang magsalita, or hindi ko talaga kaya ang magsulat, or hindi ko talaga kaya ang mag-PhD or mag-masters. So eventually, you won't be able to do it. Hindi mo talaga kakayanin. Kasi ikaw na nga mismo yung nagsasabi na hindi mo kaya. So kung ikaw mismo yung sabi hindi mo kaya, so who will believe in you? If you yourself don't believe in you. So check your language. Baka it's high time for you to say, try ko, instead of ang hirap. And mind you, studies show, sa eto na recent studies show na it's not true na if you're old, your brain can no longer be taught, that you can no longer learn new things. Actually, our brain, as long as we're alive, it's a muscle kasi. So if you train it well, train it hard, just like any muscles in our body or any muscle in our body, it will actually become stronger. So, nasa sa inyo yan. Okay? So, hindi totoo na if you're old or if you've reached this certain age, you can no longer be taught, you can no longer be trained, you can no longer try new things, more risky things, or difficult things. Hindi totoo yun. As long as you're alive, as long as you're open, you're willing to learn new things, you can. And most likely you will succeed if you'll try harder, try to do better every time. Eto, practice compassion. Practice compassion not just for others, but also for yourself. So if this day didn't work like how you want it to work, or if you committed a mistake in your report, then forgive yourself. Move on, move forward, do better next time. So, as simple as that. Yes, simple to say, but very difficult to do. But again, you have to start somewhere. By starting, the secret really is to do it constantly. And in the process, again, you'll be surprised and amazed na, oo pala, I'm a milestone away from where I was before. Sixth, move your body. Eto, exercise siguro, find your favorite exercise routine, or siguro if we're too preoccupied with lots, just doing household chores like sweeping, mopping, or even cleaning, anything that will allow you to move your body and not just stay sedentary for a long time. Because when we sweat, no, happy hormones are being released. So I think you can notice this with yourself. If you are sitting down for quite some time, or you haven't moved for a long time, at times you feel lazy, or you feel like sluggish, or you easily get tired. So hence it's important for us to every now and then move our body. Eto, very important. Seventh, create a media diet. So ano to? Media diet. Choose. Choose what you click in your social media. Choose when to open. Choose when to close. Diba? If we continuously scroll, first we'll tell ourselves, ay, 15 minutes lang, check ko lang yung update, or baka nag-comment, or baka nag-message sa akin. And then without you noticing, you've been scrolling senselessly for like an hour. And while scrolling, you slowly start to feel anxious. You slowly start to question your self-worth, because at the back of your mind, you've started comparing yourself with the other. Or baka you've been reading so much in your newsfeed na most of the readings pala are unhealthy. Yung mga sinasabi nating fake news, or yung mga news na pwede namang hindi nabasahin. Especially if you're fond to right away believing what you read. So, baka kailangan nyo na to. Yung stop or control what you're reading, or just put some time, siguro 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon. Tapos, yun na yun. And remember, what we see in social media, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Eighth, choose extracurricular activities wisely. So kagaya nung kanina, no, sa psychological inflexibility, if your goals, if your direction, if your goals are unclear, and you see your neighbor doing this, you see your friend doing this, tapos gagawin mo din kasi feeling mo na you want to be in trend, etc., no? So baka gagastos ka lang, or baka mapapagod ka lang, or baka you'll be spending much, then later on it won't really have a significant effect or a positive effect in your everyday. So again, go back to your values. Go back to the things that you really enjoy doing. By there, by there, you will get to choose what hobbies you'd like to invest this time, invest your time, invest yourself, invest your money in. Eighth, cultivate supportive relationships. So eto, as social beings, it's important for us to check each other every now and then. Mabuti na nga lang this time we have this platform, this technology, no, wherein anytime we can just leave a message or leave an email and then wait for the response. So cultivate supportive relationships, not necessarily having to go out and eat together. Siguro yung simple na sincere na pangungumusta, it will actually have a positive, a good effect on your well-being. Eto no, notion or misconception ng karamihan. If I'm struggling, I don't want to share my struggle with my friend kasi alam kong may pinagdadaanan din siya. So ayokong dumagdag. Actually, that's a misconception because you'll be surprised again if you share your struggle with this friend who's also struggling. Malay mo, baka by sharing, you'll get to find ways, solutions together. And after that, okay na kayo. Yun bang sinasabi natin na when you share your troubles, it becomes half kasi may karamay ka. When you share your joy, your successes, it doubles kasi the other person is also celebrating or will also celebrate with you. So hopefully, you'll try it. I'm sure if you share your struggles with your friend, hindi ka pabigat. I'm sure the friend will be happy kasi may matutunan din siya sa'yo. So eto yung pabaon namin sa counseling palagi. Na with our clients, we don't just help them, but actually they're helping us in return. Because like in my case, my experience with junior high school students, ang dami kong pabaon sa junior high school, no, 9 years with the junior high school. It has prepared me well to becoming the parent that I am right now with my 6-year-old. So, ang dami kong pabaon. And lastly, eto, be grateful. Be grateful even for the simplest of things. And you'll be surprised again that the simplest of things actually are the things that truly matter. The air we breathe, libre to, libre to, biyaya ng Panginoon. Uh, Good health, having healthy family, having this job, this career, having good colleagues, having a roof on my head 24/7, having this opportunity this time to share this experiences and knowledge with you. If you will try to journal or write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for every day before you go to bed, no? If you'll try doing this or if you'll start doing this, you'll actually be surprised na ang ang dami mo palang blessings na you didn't notice because it's in front of you, but your view or vision is over there. So wala yung blessings doon. And dito, kaharap mo na. And again, our brain, it's a muscle. You can train it, retrain it. If, according to the studies again, no, if you do this every day, at least 5 things that you're grateful for, you are training your brain to be more positive. And later on, you'll be surprised again that you don't have to write them down because right away, you're able to take notice of the little things that actually truly matter and that actually will make you happy and grateful for. So, with that, Give yourself the same care and attention that you give to others and watch yourself bloom. As Maya Angelou puts it, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. May we continue to choose thriving a day at a time. Thank you. This is Sheila L. Tiong of the College Guidance and Counseling Office of ATENEO de Zamboanga University. So now we're open for questions and thoughts. Back to you, A.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, Ma'am Sheila. Yeah. So have we asked ourselves, participants, are we thriving or surviving this pandemic? So personally, Ma'am Sheila, I would like to thank you for reminding us to do some self-care in situations where we feel stressed, anxious, confused, etc. Especially during these trying times. And personally, and thank you also for reminding me about my masters. So I'll need to refocus and rethink about that. Indeed, we should give ourselves the same care and attention that we give to others and watch ourselves bloom. And that we are allowed to go slow, to be quiet, and make space and feel. Let's first stop. Yan. It's okay to stop for a while. It's okay to pause for a while. Again, Ma'am Sheila, thank you for that takeaway. So this time, I'm opening the floor for our open forum. So if you have any questions to our presenter, please feel free to ask them now. You can use our chat box. Stop. Yan. It's okay to stop for a while. It's okay to pause for a while. Again, Ma'am Sheila, thank you for that takeaway. Okay, I'll be reading some of your questions. Ma'am Sheila, are you ready for the questions?
Go, A.
Okay, we have here, what are the best practices of ADZU, Guidance and Counseling Office, in dealing with students who experience burnout and in doing lots of requirements during online classes? Thank you and good morning.
Oh, sige. Burnout. Burnout from students. Actually, many students, no, hindi naman siguro talaga burnout. Kasi yung definition daw ng burnout, once you get burned out, you'll no longer want to continue what you're doing. Siguro, hindi talaga siya burnout, more on stressed lang. Kasi yun kasing definition ni burnout. With students, we receive several concerns ever since the start of the summer class last year pa when it comes to such concern up to now. Actually, akala natin that our students have adjusted and have coped with the new setup, but it seems like as we go along, as we proceed with this kind of setup, students are becoming more stressed, and we hope that they won't reach the point na burnout na sila or mabe-burnout na sila. So yung sa amin naman, what we do, like in my case, what I do, siguro, I try to make the student understand as to where the stress is coming from. Try to make the student understand na baka lang, no, yung expectations niya of himself and the setup compared to pre-pandemic and ngayon, hindi nagko-connect. So siguro, iklaro muna sa estudyante na iba na kasi ngayon and we continuously adjust and cope. And even if as a student, you are having difficulty, also your teachers, everyone actually are having difficulty. It's more of teaching the student how to have a clear routine. So yung sa self-care kanina yun, a clear routine, clear scheduling, tapos siguro yung expectations kung pwedeng babaan muna kasi nga iba yung setup natin ngayon. Baka kasi dala-dala pa niya yung expectations na naset niya pre-pandemic. So yun, check the routine, tapos check the expectations, tapos psychoeducate the student on what needs to be done. Like, baka yung tulog din, yung kain, hindi na din on time. Tapos plus managing the chores pa at home. And if kailangan to include a parent or a guardian, explain to the parent or guardian na hindi porket nasa bahay lang, anytime pwedeng tawagan or pwedeng utusan. So it's good to educate them also na respect the child's schedule or the student's schedule kasi it's really difficult this thing that we're doing right now na online setup. So, yun. I hope I answered your question. So far, that's what I do with students who express being so stressed in this new setup.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question we have here is, how can we help our library director who is irritated more often during this pandemic? And it is also affected our day-to-day activities. Yun, so personal experience ata to ah.
Oh, so with that one naman kasi medyo baka si director kailangan niya na ng counseling. Baka siya din hindi niya naiintindihan siguro pa as to where that irritation or that irritability is coming from. So siguro kayo, being the colleagues that you are, siguro the best thing that you can do is to separate that irritability from the person showing it kasi it's just one aspect of the person. I'm sure your director is still a good person. It's just that at times kayo din napapagod or napapagod. Lahat tayo napapagod, no? But remind yourself na kung siya ganito yung behavior niya sa inyo, what more na lang siguro siya sa kanyang sarili if the person still is not aware as to what effect that behavior has on others and on himself or herself. Siguro more of others compassion, tapos wag na lang personalin kasi hindi naman siguro gusto talaga ng tao to be irritable. It's just that hindi niya lang siguro makontrol kasi hindi pa niya alam kung paano or saan nanggagaling. Tapos in your case, pwede sigurong pasok dito, labas doon. Or if you are brave enough, baka you can have a heart-to-heart talk and talk to this person and listen to the person where the person is coming from. Baka din kasi yung focus natin, no, doon lang sa behavior, pero pala it's more like kailangan lang ng tao ng attention, understanding, and support. So, yun.
Baka may pinagdadaanan lang si director, right?
Yes.
So we need to be patient, yan, and flexible, and focus on other things as well. Thank you for that, Ma'am Sheila. Another question from Miguel Jose. Is it always important to control your mind?
Oh, gusto ko yan. Actually, our mind, no, we cannot control. Our mind, we cannot control. With thoughts kasi, at times, we can control. But most times, we cannot. Kaya nga, diba, actually, marami ngayon, no? There are many students, yung struggle nila is yung overthinking how to cope, how to adjust, etc. We cannot control our minds, but we can. We can just acknowledge the thoughts, try to understand if this thought has to be addressed or not, if it's important at the moment or not. If it's not that important since it's part of the past or belongs to the future yet, then might as well just let it pass. Kagaya ba sa vehicles we see on the road, no? If you want to go to a particular place, like for example, if I go to the office, I will ride the jeepney, for example. So, syempre, I will choose the jeepney that will bring me to my destination. I will not just ride any jeepney tapos will get lost in the way. So, ganun din yung thoughts natin. The thoughts are the vehicles. So, you can see them passing here, there. But you can just choose one to ride on. You can just choose one to attend to, the most needed at the present time. So ganun. We cannot control our thoughts, but we can do something about it. And most of our thoughts actually are just passing by. It becomes it stays when we choose uh taking in it with us and overthink about it. So there.
There you go. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question from Rodeline Olivar. This is a personal question also. How to deal with stress from a coworker at work? And thank you very much. So marami nag-ano ma'am, marami nag-experience ng problems when it comes to sa office siguro dealing with their coworkers. Yan. So
Yes.
stress from coworker at work. How do you deal that, ma'am?
Right. Tama. Actually, lahat naman tayo, no, we've been there at some point in our career. Again, it's good to be reminded that how the person is, how the person behaves or reacts, it doesn't really have anything to do with us. So, sa kanya yon. How we react or respond to his behavior, nasa atin din yon. So, if you want to get affected or if you want na kakainin ka ng taong yon, so nasa sa'yo yon. So, siguro, more on, pasok dito, labas doon. Easier said than done. Pero, it takes practice kasi uh, again, if you have the courage, siguro you can talk with the person. Like I'm sure anyone naman, if you talk to him or her sincerely, would most likely listen and will do something to change. So again, how the person is, nasa kanya yon. You just uh, you just we are connected, that's why we get affected. Pero if you continuously allow that person's behavior to affect you, so iba na yon. So more on ikaw. Again, try being compassionate, try being understanding. Pero pag hindi talaga kaya, siguro, usap na. Usap. So, yun.
Yeah, it's okay also to confront, right, Ma'am Sheila?
Yeah, confront in a way na gentle. Paano ba maging gentle confrontation? Siguro idaan na lang sa kape.
Yeah,
Yung
tama,
ganun,
tama.
no? Idaan sa kape.
You need to consider also your tone, di ba? The right approach. Yan,
Yes,
the
the
right
right
timing.
words. So yun, choose your
Right words.
language. Kung
Yeah.
kailangan mong i-rehearse muna, ipagdasal mo, ipanovena mo. So, go. Diba?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, I think she is a student. The question is, what is the best way po to cope with if marami pong pinail or binigay na task po ang teachers? Ano po yung magandang gawin po? Maraming po magandang gawin po para hindi po namin ma-feel na stress kasi marami pong task na binibigay po sa amin. I hope you get the question, ma'am. I will
Yes,
repeat it again. Okay, you already got it.
gets ko. Oh,
Gets
gets.
na
Feel,
gets.
feel
Yan.
na feel kita, no?
Go ahead.
Siguro, no, just by looking at the list of requirements, stress ka na. But then again, with stress kasi, the good news is, actually, si stress naman can be our friend. Pero we were conditioned kasi na stress is bad and negative. But it's actually positive if we will perceive or take it that way. Again, priorities. I'm sure naman, hindi lahat ng requirements in one day isasubmit or hindi lahat ng requirements sabay-sabay isasubmit. So again, priorities, routine, schedule. If ikaw na mismo mag-iisip ka na, andito na naman tong si ma'am, naiinis ako. So again, your language. So doon pa lang, stress ka na. Kasi ikaw mismo, you're choosing the wrong words in handling the list. So siguro, you can do the stop, especially the breathing. So acknowledge na naiinis ka kay ma'am, nakita mo pa lang yung list, naiinis ka na and all. So acknowledge that. So after that, you can remind yourself again na if you'll just focus on the inis, kay ma'am, etc. So wala ka talagang magagawa. So after doing the stop and the breathing especially, I'm sure you'll feel a lot better. And by doing the stop, you check your value-oriented goals. So what made you enroll in that school in the first place? What made you enroll in that course in the first place? For example, sabihin natin na BS accountancy, of course, klaro, no? You want to be a CPA or a CPA lawyer later on. Siguro, you can hold on to that value, on that dream. And etong si ma'am and the requirements, it's just another milestone, another test for you to fulfill and to accomplish so that slowly you're moving forward towards that dream. So yun, nasa mindset yan ha. So stop ka muna. Tapos acknowledge the discomfort, the inis. Tapos pagklaro na, so ano ba yung dapat na una kong gawin? Kasi ito yung unang ipapasa. Sunod, sunod, sunod. So ganun. Hopefully I answered your question.
So thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. So another question, this is very interesting, but before answering that, Ma'am, allow me to ask you this. Are you a plantita?
Me, I I plant, but I'm not really that serious. In when I say serious, it's not really part of my routine and schedule. I just go out of the garden, check on the plants every now and then, but it's not really an everyday thing since iba yung priorities ko ngayon. But yes, I love plants, but not really a certified plantita yet.
Okay. Okay, noted on that. So this will really challenge your knowledge about plants, Ma'am. So the question goes something like this. Since plantita or plantita is a craze, what plant in the library will I consider that may give me additional calmness?
Ano, what plant? Oh my gosh, help! Diba you're a plantito? Ganito na lang, challenge. So opportunity for our participants to share their suggestions in the chat box. Because again, I'm not a certified plantita. I love plants, but I'm not into plants as of the moment. So siguro you can share your suggestions in the chat box.
Okay, so it's an assignment and siguro additional na para at least may interaction din tayo, di ba? With other participants. If you are a certified plantito or plantita, help us out, di ba? If you can recommend to Ma'am Amihan Asi what particular plant, di ba? Kung anong particular plant that she can siguro consider adding up yung sa library nila para at least magiging calm siya and siguro soothing din sa environment sa library. As far as I can share with you, siguro personal knowledge about the snake plants, you can Google about the snake plants, ano yung mga benefits niya. Yun siguro yung isa sa mga suggestions ng mga plantita at plantito wherein it will really help you siguro when it comes to being calm, 'di ba? And nagiging okay siya yung mood sa talaga sa pag-alaga ng snake plants. Okay? Siguro later on, we'll be reading some of your siguro suggestions about the particular plant na hinahanap ni Ma'am sino nga ba 'yon? Si Ma'am Amihan. Yan. Okay? So let's proceed with another question. Ma'am Sheila, what does it mean po if usually wala po akong gana gumawa ng requirements and parang nag-lessen na po yung effort na binibigay ko sa school? I am not so sure how did this happen kasi. Yun. There you go.
Well, actually, you can answer your own question after reflecting. So using the pyramid or the triangle with the 3 points that I've shared earlier. So check mo, are you still stuck, or is there a part of you that somehow hopes na sana hindi nag-pandemic, yung ganun, no? Yung mga what if, mga sana. So check mo yon. Or pwede bang it's not that nawalan ka ng gana, baka nawalan ka ng gana because you've chose or unconsciously perhaps started to become lazy because you're preoccupied with the non-essentials. Ang dami kasing opportunities for distraction ngayon, kagaya ng Netflix, kagaya ng social media, and the hobbies that many of us get interested in. So check mo, no? Pwede din baka you're too tired because at home you're assigned to do these chores when before you're just allowed to focus on your studies pre-pandemic. So this time, akala ng mga tao sa bahay na chill-chill ka lang kasi yun yung nakita nila sa'yo. So they give you more chores. So yung mga ganun. So there are several factors that you can look into. so that ikaw mismo, you can reevaluate where that where that nawala ng gana or kulang ng motivation ay nanggagaling. So, yun.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question we have here. Paano po mag-cope kung kapag may napapanood o may naririnig tungkol sa pandemya ay may stress at anxiety na nararamdaman? Yan. Mahirap magbasa ng Tagalog.
Mm. Okay. So, stress and anxiety due to this pandemic, no?
Mm-mm.
Parang ganun ba?
Yan,
Sige.
napapanood niya po sa television or he or she is able to hear about the pandemic and it causes stress and anxiety to her.
There. Yung sa media diet natin, yung sa self-care tips. So, I've heard some individuals who are experiencing the same, no, because they are exposed to news, COVID news, updates every now and then. So, they become quote unquote stressed or praning na. So, baka it's high time for you to refrain, or detoxify yourself from watching such news. Kasi again, what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, actually, you become it. So, detoxify, lessen your watching of news, or choose muna for the time being good shows are shows that would teach you or encourage you to learn new skills, to be inspired. Like for example, ang mga cooking shows, yung ganun, no, mga fixing the house, or how to be this, yung mga ganun. So, lesser muna on the updates and news about this pandemic.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, is it okay po ba to avoid someone kasi I feel na toxic na siya sa buhay ko?
Yes, it's perfectly okay to choose when to stop being friend with this toxic person.
A big yes, di ba? It all goes
Yes.
down to you. A big yes. You can do that. Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, how do you handle in a scenario that you forgive yourself but the people around you is not?
Ano yun eh? How?
How do you handle in a scenario that you forgive yourself but the people around you is not?
Oh, so you forgive yourself but they don't forgive you. Parang ganun, no?
Parang ganun siguro.
Parang ganun. So very good. Very good if you were able to forgive yourself. Yun naman kasi yung importante. With forgiveness, actually amazing ka nga, no? Kasi with forgiveness, it's actually normal for us to forgive another than to forgive oneself. So in your case, very good. If you're able to forgive yourself in spite of others not being able yet to. So just like with pleasing, no, we can never please everyone, no matter how much we try to please everyone. We cannot. So that's a fact of life that we need to accept. So same with forgiveness. Yung forgiveness naman kasi, we forgive because for our own mental well-being, not really because of the other person or for the other person. It really boils down to your peace of mind and heart. So in that case, job well done. So they're forgiving you, it's up to them, not up to you. There.
Okay, a reminder to self. Okay. So thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, how to handle if a person is going through grief for 3 years na, though performing well in school, when alone, has negative thoughts?
Okay. With grief naman kasi, there really is no one formula, or there really is no help guide, because grief, just like success, just like contentment and even happiness, it really is subjective. So, others, siguro after 6 months, okay na. Others, after 10 years. I know of someone after 9 years, no? Hindi niya actually alam na he's been grieving pala. Akala niya okay na siya. So, na-realize lang niya after 9 years na doon niya natanggap na okay na siya. So, in your case, it's okay to cry every now and then. Anyway, you're able to function normally pa naman, whatever you're expected to every day. Yung yung hindi nga lang talaga safe is yung negative thoughts. Negative thoughts that pop in your head every time you're alone. Siguro, if you want, no, you can consider sharing your thoughts with a trusted friend. Baka sinosolo mo. It's like ba, if you continuously ruminate with negative thoughts, actually, you no longer know, or you can no longer differentiate it if it's true or not. So it's important for us to let out those thoughts with another person, because by doing such, you get to listen to yourself and make sense out of those thoughts. Baka yun, try mo. Try mo, no, with a trusted friend. But still, you're doing well because, in spite of you grieving, you're able still to do well in your everyday. So, there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. So actually, we still have a lot of questions. Do we still have time to answer all those questions?
We're given until 12.
Okay, we still have time.
Yeah.
So
Still have
We
hanggang
have
time.
50.
you have enough time, sir.
We
Okay,
have
good.
enough time? Okay.
We still
Sige.
have enough time. Thank you very much, Sir Kaloy.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Another question, Ma'am Sheila. What is the best thing to do with anxiety?
Oh, the best thing to do with anxiety. So it's important. So again, going back to the triangle, no. So dun sa psychological inflexibility, uh, it's important for you to know or to identify what the trigger is, or where the anxiety is coming from. From there, hopefully, you'll slowly try to face it head on. So yun, identify muna, tapos every time andun yung trigger, you can go back to your breathing. Kasi with anxiety kasi, uh, most of the time, we get so scared, or we get so anxious to meet the trigger, hence we try to avoid the trigger. So this time, you face the trigger, and by facing this trigger, you slowly desensitize it, and until such time you're comfortable with the trigger, because you know how to handle it every time it pops in. So yun, pag andun si trigger, go back to your breathing. Go back to your breathing. You'll be surprised na, oo pala, ba't pala ako na nagpapatalo sa trigger na to? So there, that's for a start, no. Pero siguro kung kailangan pa ng digging deeper for you to really understand where it's coming from, kasi baka may mga trauma or unresolved issues in the past. Might as well, if you're a student, check with your school counselor so they can help you. Again, help is readily available.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. So another interesting question. Here it goes. During this pandemic, many gained weight. Yan. I can relate to this. And I know you also, Ma'am Sheila, right?
Relate na relate.
Relate na relate. Especially those who stays at home and ate a lot. Is this a manifestation of stress? What can we do to control the eating?
Yeah. So yan, only you can answer that. Pwedeng due to stress, pwedeng due to boredom, pwedeng kasi gusto mo lang talagang kumain. Pero kasi with eating, no, with eating, just like addiction also. I'm not saying na addiction yung eating mo ngayon. Just like with addiction actually, we eat when we're stressed, or we eat when we're bored. Iba din naman kasi na we're eating because we need food to nourish, or we're hungry. Iba din yon. When we eat because we're stressed or we're bored, actually, if you notice, ako, guilty talaga ako dito. And I really know if I'm eating just so to fill that void, or to cover the exhaustion. So check yourself. If if you're inis or if you're so tired, then you resort to eating, baka yun yung nagpapa-gain sa'yo ng weight. So in that case, if you're inis or if you're tired, so what can you do? A healthier alternative than eating. Lalo na no, if we end up eating junk just so to feel or to cover that exhaustion or that inis. So what can you do this time to resort to not resort to eating, instead an alternative, a healthier alternative? So an example no, siguro for the plantitas, if inis na inis ka, you can go out and check on your plants, or you can go out, check on your plants, ano ba, water the plants or need to trim some leaves, yung ganon. Or siguro for our artists, common talaga to for our artist friends, if they're inis or if they have that void or they're tired, they would go to sketching, doodling, drawing. Others naman would engage into writing. So yun, it's up to you to choose for a healthier alternative so that you won't end up eating. So again, it's a process. It's difficult at first kasi nasanay na yung katawan mo to just open a bag of chips and then eat, eat, eat. Tapos after nun, you'd feel better. So this time, ano siguro yung pwedeng alternative? Until such time, your body, your system will adapt to it and you will no longer choose or resort to eating. So there.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, can you recommend books, podcasts, or show about counseling? Books
Pod-
or podcasts or show?
Bale, with counseling kasi, usually, they are, ano ba to? When I read counseling books, they really are books for, I forgot the term, wherein you use them to do reports or to do lesson plans. Ganun kasi yung tipo pag counseling books yung binabasa ko. But siguro books that have thoughts no or inputs on counseling or psychotherapy, siguro to begin with, yung pinaka favorite ko, my first ever na favorite is yung Road Less Traveled. So Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. So he is a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist. So there, he shows real stories of clients na how he treated them, etc. So actually, that Road Less Traveled, to begin with, it has other series. So parang sunod-sunod siya. Parang a continuation of the first book. So siguro yon to start with. But not really counseling, it's more on psychotherapy given, but still counseling psychotherapy, similar lang naman sila, but psychiatric background. But it doesn't mean na you have to be studying psychiatry or psychology for you to read it. It's more on you understanding yourself in the process while reading it. With podcast kasi, I'm not really into podcast. I prefer kasi reading talaga than just listening. Given that, every day I already listen to clients. So I want to read naman. So yun siguro, The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Or you can check your library. I'm sure ang dami nilang books no that injects counseling or siguro psychotherapy.
Okay,
So
thank you very
there.
much, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, I wanted to ask, I have this problem na hindi ako mabilis matulog. The more the silent environment is, the more na hindi ako makatulog. So I need music to sleep. I just find it weird and I have to distract my brain through music to sleep. Is this bad?
No, it's perfectly okay. If that works for you, then go. Mabuti nga at nahanap mo yung solusyon sa sleeping problem mo. So good. Continue on doing that. Actually, there are individuals no I know my dad before, ngayon yung mama ko na who is 60, 67, 65 years old, she cannot sleep pag silent din. She just keeps the TV open until makatulog siya. Tapos at the middle of the night, when she wakes up to pee, she closes the TV. Ganon din yung dad ko before. And there are individuals who would just also leave the TV open, yung tinatawag nating white noise, kahit hindi ka nakikinig, basta alam mo lang na may sound, it gives you that sense of calm. So it's perfectly normal. So good kasi you have that. You have that to help you sleep.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila. So here's another issue sa office. Yan. How to deal with the boss who doesn't care fair to his employee. Yan. Again, how to deal with the boss who doesn't care fair to his employee.
Paano ba yan, AM? Parang HR concerns nito.
Action.
Kausapin nyo na lang yung HR ninyo. Siguro, it has such concern, no, needs the attention or the listening ears of your HR. So, ganun na lang. Sa HR na.
I think, ma'am, it has something to do with ano siguro, like personal reaction, 'di ba? Yung parang if ever they are dealing with a certain boss who is toxic or who is not fair or just, how do they handle it? Like personally, how do they control their emotions or their feelings by not siguro directly show it or tell it to the boss? May mga ways ba tayo or steps when it comes to like that, ma'am? Controlling our emotions and feelings.
Okay. So again, so thank you for that follow-up, A, no? So again, just like kanina with the director from the library and the director from the library, no? If you can still be patient, understanding, more compassionate na that behavior is just part of the person and there are still strengths and good qualities of your boss. If you can still focus on those, tapos on your part naman, being the colleague or subordinate, if you are certain that you are doing your job very well in spite of the unfair treatment. So go, push mo lang na do your stuff, to the best of your ability, tapos being more compassionate and understanding with this boss. And again, pag hindi mo na talaga kaya, tapos you don't have that courage to sit down, pakape, or heart-to-heart talk with the boss, then baka it's high time na you bring the matter to the higher up. Kasi baka din, no, baka din, your boss also needs help. Baka din siya, hindi siya aware, she or he is not aware of his or her behavior and shortcoming. Kasi yun din, yung culture kasi natin as Filipinos, we just want to be quiet and just, yung feeling ba natin na if we be quiet or just talk it out, vent it out with colleagues, with trusted colleagues, no, na maging okay lang lahat. It's our culture as Filipinos. So in that process, actually, we're not also helping the other person. So eto, if you feel na unhealthy na talaga, and I'm sure if you feel that way, your boss also might be feeling that way also, kaso lang hindi siya aware that he or she also needs help. There.
There you go. Yan. Okay. Thank you, Ma'am Sheila. Another question, how to keep motivated and stop procrastinating?
Oh. So again, you can answer that question. Go back to the triangle, no? What causes the procrastinating? Has it become just part of a bad habit? Kasi nasanay ka na it's been working for quite some time. Yes, it's been working for quite some time, but then again, you need to consider the other sensations that it's been doing harm to you, especially your bodily sensations. So paano mo ma-overcome? You first identify where it's coming from and how is it doing harm to you, and then take baby steps. mahirap kasing i-break yung bad habit. Mahirap ding mag-develop ng new good habit. So pareho sila. So you just have to do it a step at a time until such time it becomes natural to you. So ganun with procrastination, motivation. With motivation kasi, you can go back to your values. So what is it that motivates you? What is it that pushes you? And I'm sure it's part of your value-oriented goals. Especially the values. Family ba yan? Ano ba? Uh, like a cause? Like this particular milestone? Yung ganon. So there.
Okay, so Ma'am Sheila, kaya pa? Are you still motivated to answer all of their questions?
Siguro, last two.
Last two.
Questions.
Okay, there you
Oo.
go. Last two. Siguro I'll
Last two
choose
questions.
yung yung parang related sa topic natin kasi as far as I can see, maraming mga parang as what you mentioned a while ago, Ma'am Sheila, parang mga HR related questions. Yung parang how to deal with their boss, how to deal with their toxic coworkers. Yeah. So, here. Ito, any tip po on establishing, communicating your boundaries to others causing you negatively?
Oh, sige. Gusto ko yan. With setting boundaries naman, it really starts with saying. Saying it rightly in a good tone, the right choice of words with the concerned persons. Again, our culture as Filipinos, we're used to just keep things to ourselves. Yung magrereklamo lang tayo, mag-rant lang tayo. And most of the time, the concerned persons don't know or will never know na their behavior is already affecting us negatively. So with communicating naman, it starts with communicating, talking heart to heart with the concerned persons or concerned person. So mind your choice of words, your tone of voice, at syempre, importante din talaga yung mood. Yung mood nyo pareho. So yung proper timing. So kung pwede, idaan na lang sa kape at sa cake. So yung ganun, no? So it starts with talking. Talking to the person concerned.
Okay, down to our last question. One more
Yes.
question, Ma'am Sheila. Okay, kaya pa. Okay,
Kaya.
from ito, very interesting interesting question. Here it goes. I am an extrovert person. I go out and interact. COVID pandemic made us introvert and causing mental and emotional stress or anxiety. How do I overcome this? I am not comfortable with work from home condition up to now, but I have no choice.
Sige, with being introvert and extrovert, yes, yan talaga yung isa sa mga challenges with extrovert individuals, no, na they like to hang out, like to go on parties, yung socializing. But then again, the good thing about this new setup is in spite of the physical limitations that we all are in, we have this we have uh, we have these platforms, we have technology. So siguro for our safety and health, siguro let's continue to make the most out of what's available. I'm sure yung bang feeling natin now, we're so eager to hug, to talk, to make chika, like really to express our emotions physically. But then lahat naman tayo, we want to come out of this pandemic alive. So siguro, remind yourself every now and then na lilipas din to. Hindi lang natin alam kung kailan. So eto na muna. We can do Zoom, we can do video call, kahit walang physical interaction. You still can be the extrovert that you are in creative ways. So yun siguro, no? Be open. Yun, be open, tapos be present. Baka part of you, check mo din. Baka part of you, andun pa rin talaga na, sana nagbabakasyon na ako. Sana kumakain na ako dito with my best friends. Yung ganun. Mga sana, mga what if. So for now, let's park those muna and focus on what we have. So eto, I'm sure marami yung nahihirapan na. But we just have to make do with what we have. Because our bigger goal is to come out of this healthy and alive. So there.
There you go. Thumbs up to that, Ma'am Sheila. Thank you very much, Ma'am Sheila, for answering all their questions. And of course, to our participants, our dear participants, we would like you to thank you very much for asking those questions. It only means that you are very interested about the topic, di ba? As we are experiencing right now, this pandemic, and it causes a lot of stress, anxiety, discomfort, etc. Okay, so is there anything else you wanted to add or to cover, Ma'am Sheila?
So far, I'm good, A. I'm good.
Okay, great. Thank you very much once again, Ma'am Sheila. At this juncture, may I call on the FJTB, Library American Corner Director of the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, Ms. Lini Kalingacion, to give us the closing remarks.
The current pandemic has been causing a lot of anxiety, depression, and other psychosocial concerns. Worldwide, we now have over 104 million cases and over 2.2 million deaths. And as the figures rise, so do our worries and feelings of uncertainty. The Ateneo de Zamboanga University, through the American Corner, the Social Development Office, and the College Guidance Office, takes great pleasure in providing free webinars that would help all of us cope with what can be considered as the most challenging times in our lives. This webinar titled Surviving or Thriving, the Importance of Self-Care is one of the interventions we can recognize as essential to everyone. To understand self-care, to learn concrete skills to practice and address particular stress reactions. It is our hope that what you have learned in this webinar will aid you in coping with stresses we all have these times, in finding time for self-care, in nourishing our soul, and in replenishing our spirit so that we can give more of ourselves to others. I would like to thank our resource speaker, Ms. Sheila Chong, the Director of Ateneo College Guidance and Counseling Office, together with our facilitator, Mr. Alexander Medina, our counselor from the same office. Regalo Touching Lives, headed by Mr. Carlos Eclevia, for hosting the event. Let me also thank the participants for your positive participation. In closing, let me quote one author who said, "Be kinder to yourself, and then let your kindness flood the world." In these challenging times, we can survive and we can also thrive. We just have to look within, look outside, and look above. To our Almighty God who sustains us in good times and in bad. Thank you very much.
There you go. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Stay safe and God bless. Good morning once again.
Sir Alex,
Yes, sir?
ano ba tayo? A group picture
Okay.
with Miss Anderson and Miss Lynn. Hi, Ma'am, Miss Lynn and Miss Anderson. Can you open your cam?
With us? Okay, there.
All right. Miss Lynn.
Baka kumakain na.
Oh, siguro. Okay. All right, sige. While waiting, can you smile? All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir Kaloy.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sir Kaloy. Thank you, Ma'am Pauline and Ma'am Lini. Ma'am Sheila, thank you so much.
Thank you, A. Thank you, Ma'am Pauline. Thank you, Ma'am Lini.
Thank you also to our dear participants for joining.
Thank you, everyone.